and then there is BYU. BYU stuns Oklahoma State late, and I think if this team was not undefeated, Aaron Roderick would be in a lot of trouble in Provo, because whatever that BS at the end of the first half was, where you had your quarterback running around, almost getting sacked, throwing just a Hail Mary interception, and then getting injured. Thankfully, it turned out not to be serious, trying to make the tackle, when what you should have done and what everybody was saying was take a knee and let's go to the locker room.
Yeah.
And just the inexplicable ignorance about how important the run game is. The play calling at BYU aside, that Jake Retzloff throw to Darius Lassiter, his ability to move the football through the air and on the ground, the RPO game, the read option. I will again say Jake Retzloff is the only quarterback that should ever have been considered to be the starter at BYU. That's my goddamn quarterback.
Yeah. And
that throw to Darius Lassiter, that's one of the best plays in the post-Lavelle era of BYU football. It is sensational. It is spectacular. It is a throw that could only be put in that one spot or it was going to be intercepted. And then the run after the catch by Darius was unreal. And it gives you that belief that maybe there is something in the water in Provo this year. Maybe there is an avenue for this team to compete for a conference championship, to beat Utah at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Maybe there is an avenue for this team to really achieve something special, because it certainly feels like no matter what call Aaron Roderick puts in, they're going to win the game anyway.
Well, look, I think that throw to Lassiter for the game-winning touchdown there's a lot going on in that play. And, the thing that stood out to me watching the replay over and over and over again is it stands out that, first of all, Jake's incredibly prepared for the moment. Like, he understands, okay, this is what the defense is doing. This is the look. This is who I'm going to try and get this ball to. It was always going to go to Darius. He was, you were always going to him. He's your number one guy this year. You were ready to go. And you talk about that run after the catch. Everyone's talking about the juke, making the defender miss to score. And that's a hell of a play. All the credit in the world to Lassiter. He's not making that play without the throw being right on the money. And that's the beauty of Jake's game. Yes, he turns the ball over. Yes, he does. And he turns it over too much. He turns it over to a point where I am concerned about it playing against better teams. I am. Not gonna beat Iowa State if you're turning the ball over at that rate. Like, I'm just telling you. But for now, he's getting away with it. And yeah, I would agree. If they can continue to play at this rate, they should theoretically, come end of season, go to Arlington. But I have to say, the play calling is what will limit them. Not running the football consistently will limit you. Putting your quarterback in harm's way will limit you. Asking Retzloff to run around and try to play hero ball when the defense is playing deep zone coverage is not a smart move. Like, I'm a huge believer, especially when you watch a team like BYU. I'm a huge believer. How many guys does the defense have in the box? Oh, they've got more guys than you can block. So they've got like 8, 9 guys in the box. Okay. Probably should pass the football or throw it out to the flat. Oh, they've only got 5 guys in the box. Let's turn around and hand it off to LJ.
Well, I think there was just some really, listen, Jake Retzloff can't complete 50% of his passes in 9 out of 10 games. If Oak State wasn't so bad, and they are not good, if they were not so bad, Jake going 13 of 26 would have killed this team. The perfect example is the I don't know the throw to the boundary, the screen pass, whatever you want to call it, to JoJo Phillips.
Yeah.
Where he's throwing that ball 100 miles an hour, JoJo's not catching that pass. And the ball hits him in the hands. JoJo cannot, when you're in that position and you're trying to catch a screen in front of you and figure out who's coming at you, that ball's got to have a little more touch to help the wide receiver.
Yeah.
The interception at the end of the first half, you can't make that mistake. You gotta, in my opinion, Jake's got to be more situationally aware. But Aaron Roderick's got to help him. You were running all over Oak State. Run the ball. Run the ball with commitment. Run the ball like it is your job. Your only job is to call run plays. Run the ball.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And this was a special moment, and Jake Retzloff's going to talk about that in a minute. And this was everything that you'll remember, and it's one of the most memorable performances. But let's not forget that it took a very special moment to cover up a whole lot of black eyes in this game.
Yeah, and I think you got to talk about the defense too. I don't think this was just on the offense. Ollie Gordon, getting loose, running over your defense. He hasn't done that all year except against you.
And then they go away from Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, which is I don't know how you explain that. Like, like if you're Casey Dunn sitting up there, how are you not just like, yep, this is the 50 carry, 250 yard, just outlandish video game numbers for Ollie Gordon type game. Like the opportunity was there.
Did he only had 16 carries?
And did what he did.
And you were leading for most of the second half is crazy to me. I don't understand when you're in a position to be in the lead in the fourth quarter, and I should say you were leading most of the fourth quarter, and you're not, and I understand he was injured, and if he's in the game, turn around and hand him the football.
Yeah.
He was dominating BYU. And anyway, my point is, run the football. You only ran the football 36 times. Run it 45 times.
Yeah.
You averaged 7 yards a carry on Oak State's defense. Run the ball 40 times. Why throw, in my opinion, throwing those, the second down play calling makes me crazy out of Aaron Roderick.
Mm-hmm.
If Chase Roberts and Jake Retzloff don't have unbelievable chemistry, how many of those third and fourth downs do they pick up?
Yeah.
I mean, it just, and I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, and I understand that there's going to be a lot of BYU fans who are going, why the negativity, Marty? Because you better be honest about your football team. And I'm not as worried about the defense as I am about Aaron Roderick's play calling.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is weeks in a row where we're sitting here wondering, what were you thinking right there?
Well, and I just don't know that, like, again, I don't mean to hate on A-Rod, but it's not like they're difficult situations either. It's not like, you're in these really tough spots where, you got to come up with something. Like, to your point, you're running for 7 yards a carry. That quite literally means that all night long you're in 2nd and 3. Like, you're in really, really elite and advantageous down and distance, and that opens the entire playbook, including turn around and hand it off, including run some RPO.
Stop putting this offense at BYU in 3rd and 10 with really bad play calls on 2nd down.
Right.
You're averaging 7 yards a carry. Run the football. Run the football more and more and more and more. I don't care if you run it 50 times. Because your defense was struggling to cover. Keep the ball out of Oak State's hands. I'm telling you now, the path for BYU to be a dominant offense is to run the football. LJ Martin, as I've said all year, is the most important player on that offense. Because when he's healthy, they're dominant. Let's hear from Jake Retzloff talking about that last play. The throw to Darius Lassiter that ultimately won the game for BYU.
I don't know, dude. It's a great concept. But it was just Darius made a great play on the ball, went and got it. in their 2-minute stuff, they do some drop stuff where they go like U coverage. They did it against us last year, their U coverage stuff, and they haven't ran very much for this year. They did the man versions against us last year, but this year they drop out of it. So we knew maybe cut underneath them and then get the ball to the receiver before that middle like Tampa-ish player, fit it between the linebackers. I don't know, bro. That's a bunch of football jargon, but I just saw him coming open throwing the ball. Like, there's a certain point, especially a 2-minute drill, where you just got to see the field, see areas of the field. It's zone coverage-ish, because always in the back end it kind of mans up. And just Darius made an incredible play, and that's Darius. That's 5 for you.
Spot on.
I mean, I think I'm a big believer, especially against what I call a zone that uses a shell over the top. And when you have those areas where you can throw the ball into, and as undisciplined as the secondary at Oak State is, in that they tend to overrun the football on a regular basis. And you saw it with Darius on that play. Darius Lassiter catches that ball, and he's running back towards the middle of the field, and you're just taking the completely wrong angle.
Yeah.
The wrong angle. And I think you heard it from Jake right there, that the Oak State secondary is very predictable. It is one of the issues that I think Oklahoma State has had, is that their defense, especially in dime, and to more to the point in nickel, at least, they're very predictable on what their concepts are and what their guys are trying to do. And the other thing is, Jake didn't have a whole lot of concern up front on that play, for obvious reasons. You're not sending the house against him when you're leading. But you felt like
he moved well in the pocket too. I mean, it's not like he got out and ran, but he shifted left into the inside within the pocket. He moved left a little bit and gave himself a couple, extra moments there. But yeah, look, man, I think that BYU is capable of getting to the Big 12 championship game. That is within them. However, the play calling and the turnovers are going to decide just how far they get. Because again, I can't emphasize this enough. If you're able to run for, 7 yards a carry on a bad Oklahoma State defense, that's probably only 3 against, again, Iowa State.
But again, how do we get to the Darius Lassiter pass? The 27-yard Jake Retzloff run.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the best moments of his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I don't mean at BYU, his entire football career. That fourth quarter drive. And it's what we've come to know him for. Are they the best team in the league? I don't think so. I think that there's no question in my mind it's Iowa State. But BYU has that certain little something, that puts them in position to be undefeated and competing for a conference championship into Halloween.
And I think that ability to perform in big moments like that can't be undersold. I mean, it does take a certain intangible to not feel, because I don't believe that Jake feels the pressure of like a 2-minute drill. I don't think that's how it is for him. I think that like kind of what he was alluding to in the clip, like you're just basically playing football at that point. Your play call comes in.
Players win games, man.
Yeah, play comes in, you run the play, you know what you're looking for. You're either prepared or you're not, and he's very much prepared. And I just think that I like it happens in football. The play call comes in, you call the play, and you're like, yep, I know exactly what I'm going to be looking for right here. I know they're going to be in zone. I know the Tampa linebacker is either going to drop back, but I know I got a second. Like, he understands, dude. So
what? Then why call a halfback option that leads to an interception in the red zone?
Because you're not smart. You're trying to get cute. That's why.
Like, you're dominating the run game. And this, I think this is exactly why BYU likely will not compete for a conference championship. Because you're going to try to get cute. And I love the trick plays, but they've got to be in the right moment with the right guys. Are you asking Rapati? I think it was Rapati who threw the halfback option pass. Why? What is the thought process there? Why are you, when you're dominating, with a guy in LJ Martin who you've been waiting all year to be healthy and ready, and he's shown you that he's healthy and ready, you throw
well, and I think
it's just idiocy in my mind. It's not even cute. It's not we tried something no. That was a horrible play call.
Yeah, and anytime they're running trick plays, if Parker Kingston's throwing the football, you're going to be in a really good place. He played quarterback in high school. He can really throw the football. He is a perfect fit to run a trick play of whatever variety. But if it's Rapati or anybody else,
put it in the hands of a star player who's got it factor.
Yeah.
If you're going to, I don't even care if it's LJ Martin. At least that's going to suck the defense up because he's dominating you running the football. I don't know. I don't mean to belabor the point. Let's get into it. On the Monty Show, the comment section is always brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. I don't know. I don't know what was more special over the weekend. BYU finding a way to get the ball to Darius Laster or good old Uncle Monty. Good old Uncle Monty going 4 for 4 on Prize Picks this weekend. Absolutely dominating in baseball. I would just like to, listen, you guys know I'm humble here, and you guys know that I am somebody who does not believe in talking about myself in ways that would bring attention to myself rather than the malfeasance of Jake picking Prize Picks games. But Friday night, the Mets and the Dodgers, I would just like to say, listen, Otani, you're a jackwagon, which is why I did not pick you. I did pick Francisco Lindor, who I'm picking every single night that he's playing. Oh, that's right.
I've hit it every time.
Screw the Mets. The Dodgers are going to the World Series. Yeah! But Lindor, Friday night, 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He came through with 5. My man. And then last night, I just look at the greatness of Francisco Lindor last night. 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He came through with 2. Shohei the Money. 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He came through with 5. Shohei the Money. Absolutely getting the job done with the Dodgers scoring 5 runs. And then, of course, we take, if my app would load, I would tell you exactly who I picked. Oh, thank you. We took Max Muncy for less than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Less. Thank you for striking out. Thank you for being terrible. Maxi Poo. I don't know, you guys. I just feel like I'm in that zone where I used to produce a radio show for a guy that was a gambling degenerate way back in the day. Like one of my first good gigs in radio was, and this guy was just such a gambling degenerate. Like he would gamble on how many corn kernels were in your, never mind. My point is, and he would always say to me, Tim, and he called me Timmy, I can see it. I can see it coming. It's like I'm a soothsayer. Take the over. And of course it would hit the under. Take the over. You know the guy who's like, I have a vision from
in God's name,
from
image,
Jesus Christ. As though I play at Abilene. As though I play at
the first part.
Abilene against Texas Tech when we used to play there, and that's why we scored 700 points against Joey's shitty defense. Because I can see it coming.
Hot ass.
Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5, they give you 50 more. Boys, I took home $400 this weekend.
I can see the Gatorade cooler coming for your quarterback.
I can see not paying for golf anymore this season. Thank you, Prize Picks. And Francisco Lindor, who now I can't rely on anymore. Aaron Judge, does he win a World Series here?
Yes.
Do you think the Yankees are winning?
I do think the Yankees will outlast the Dodgers, yeah. Because they can hit with them. That's the thing.
Well, and neither one of them has pitching worth a damn. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Can Ferris Bueller's Day Off win a game? Probably 2 for the Dodgers. Can Walker Buehler come through and win games for the Dodgers?
Oh, he's going to be rested now.
And he's going to have to win games.
Yeah.
They don't play that game. That series doesn't start until Friday.
Jeez.
So they're all going to be well rested. Thomas Reed, our newest member of the show. Tommy, welcome to the membership.
Hey, Tommy.
For $10, he says the ACC could get 3 in. I don't think so. Long shot, Miami, Clemson, SMU. SMU. And I know SMU, again,
Monty.
I feel like every fan base thinks that we're somebody else's fans and we hate them.
Excellent strategy, sir.
Probably means we're doing things right. SMU fan, like, you just don't respect us.
Well,
you're right,
this is
I don't.
An SEC show.
It's not me that doesn't respect you. It's the fact that you're this unbelievable team that's 22nd in the country. How are you getting in?
Me?
You're not. Anyway. It could all get in. 2 best opponent records play for the title. Leaves the 3rd that could get in. There's if it's could get in, you're not getting in.
Yeah.
4 from the Big Ten. I'm curious because if you look at the AP poll right now, ask yourself, can the Big Ten get 4 in? And I guess it depends. And I guess your question is, do you believe that Indiana can stay at 13 and go higher? Because
bro, that was some kind of ass kicking they handed out. Like,
yeah, but
no,
yeah, you're right. They're
Don't.
the number 1 team in the Big Ten. I totally get that.
Nebraska,
but it's Nebraska,
right? But remember what everybody said, and I'm holding all you hyenas to your word. Oh, Colorado's terrible. Nebraska's amazing. Screw Prime.
Nebraska's 2-2 in the conference.
What'd you just do against Indiana? Apparently a terrible team.
Indiana's beaten FIU, Western, Directional Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern, and Nebraska. They have Washington, Michigan State, Michigan, the Ohio State, and Purdue. So you're probably, you're playing a 10 a.m. game. Washington's not going to Indiana and winning.
No.
You're better than Michigan State. Where are the Michigan fans this morning?
Yeah. Is this thing on?
Anybody seen a
Hello?
Anybody seen a Michigan fan? Well, this is a week, Marty. No, it's not.
We show up.
No, it's not. No, you don't. And then the Ohio State. So look at the AP poll here. Do you buy that? Obviously, Penn State's, I think, probably getting in.
Yeah.
Ohio State's getting in.
Yep.
And then who? Illinois is not getting in.
No.
As much as I respect Illinois, and they're tough at home. And those helmets that Illinois had on this weekend,
Stay hard.
those were, did you guys see? Go look at the Illinois uniforms from this weekend. Illinois, the party's over because you're going to Autzen. You're going to Autzen Saturday. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for the memories. Minnesota, Michigan State at Rutgers at Northwestern. Illinois is, in my opinion, going to finish 5-2. And
by all standards with Illinois, that's a nice season. But you're not college football playoff good, in my opinion.
Yeah. So they'll finish with 2 losses, and they're going to finish at 7-2 in the conference. Because I think they're going to win their last 4 and they're going to lose to Oregon.
Yeah.
So they'll finish 7-2.
Oh, okay. So if you're
is that top 12?
See, again, this conversation when we talk about Illinois is less about the Fighting Illini and more about the other teams around them.
And so who is the 4th team that gets in? That's because Oregon, obviously, Oregon, Penn State,
excuse me,
the Fighting Paternos,
thank you,
Happy Ending Valley, and the Ohio State.
Yeah.
How different would this conversation be if Ohio State had won that game? No different at all, because those three are getting in whether you want them to or not.
Totally agree. Totally
And
agree.
I think the question is, can Indiana or Illinois sneak in the back door? I don't think they can.
I think Indiana's got the goods based on their schedule. I think that Indiana, and as much as I'm not a huge Kirk Cignetti guy, right?
Jake, Google him.
Yeah, Google him, right? He just wins. I get it, dude. And give him credit. Give him credit. I'm not hating on dude.
I agree.
Hey, you beat the hell out of Nebraska. You didn't just like go in and beat them by.
No, you made a statement.
You made a statement.
Yeah.
So
you were there to prove a point.
Give him credit. But again, just like we say about BYU, I'm going to say the same thing about Indiana. You're going to have to show me week in and week out you have staying power. But yes, I do believe that Indiana has the goods to get there. Will they? Remains to be seen.
I think the huge disappointments in this league are USC, who's just terrible.
I don't know how he doesn't get fired.
That is not good. Miller Moss, absolutely. I'm not sure his kidneys are. I think his kidneys are detached. They're just like sitting on the bottom of his butthole.
Think that's HIPAA?
I think that's probably what his because he took a beating in that game. How do you not? This is your offensive line. Can somebody explain to me? You're USC and you can't block a field goal?
No.
They're blocking on field goal. Their entire left side of their line just didn't do their job. And it cost them a football game against a really average Maryland team.
Right.
Remarkable. My point is, I don't think anybody in this conference, Wisconsin, the problem with Wisconsin is you lost to USC and Alabama. Okay. You've got to beat Penn State this weekend, but what happens if Penn State loses that game? Is that good for the Big Ten if Wisconsin beats Penn State?
No.
It's not good. Iowa, Oregon.
Penn State's undefeated, is that right?
Penn State is undefeated. Yes, 6-0, 3-0 in conference. And I think Wisconsin's got the best opportunity because Wisconsin's got opponents on their schedule. Oregon's got to go to Camp Randall and Penn State's got to go to Camp Randall. Both those games are at home. So they have a chance. I think it's 3 teams in the Big Ten. I know.
Well, it's definitively 3 teams. Those 3 are getting in. It's just a matter of if Indiana can win enough games. That's,
we're going to find out.